What if every challenge you face isn't a wall, but a signal, pointing to a smarter move, a better angle, a wiser mindset? In a world that rewards noise and speed, true power lies in quiet strategy. The Stoics didn't react. They observed, prepared, and acted with precision. This video breaks down the timeless art of thinking ahead, adapting without fear, and turning setbacks into stepping stones. If you're ready to stop rushing blindly into problems and start approaching life like a strategist, this is your moment. Because once you master the art of strategic thinking, no challenge can catch you off guard again. Chapter 1. Think strategically, not reactively. Most people live their lives like distracted chess players, always one move behind, reacting to whatever appears in front of them. A crisis shows up, and they scramble. An opportunity arises, and they jump without thinking. But reaction is not strategy, it's survival. And those who only survive never rise. The Stoic mind thinks differently. It doesn't wait for problems to arrive. It anticipates. It doesn't chase outcomes. It designs them. Strategic thinking is not a trick. It's a discipline of perspective. To think strategically means zooming out, seeing the larger field, asking not just what's next, but what does this moment mean within the greater picture? While others obsess over what's urgent, the strategist prioritizes what is essential. They pause, they question, they see patterns where others see randomness, and they move not quickly but precisely. Strategic thinkers don't just plan, they prepare. They don't hope things go well, they shape conditions so that even setbacks serve them. Their decisions are not driven by emotion, but by clarity. They play the long game, not because it's easy, but because it's the only game that lasts. In a world of endless noise, this mindset is rare, but it can be trained. It starts the moment you choose awareness over impulse, the moment you stop reacting and start thinking forward. That's when you begin not just to move, but to move with meaning. And in the next chapter, we'll uncover the core principles that make this discipline unshakable. Chapter 2. The core of strategic discipline. Strategic thinking is not a burst of cleverness, it's a way of living. It's what separates those who chase every noise from those who build something that lasts. At the center of it is discipline, not the discipline of willpower, but of perspective. The discipline to pause before acting, to ask not what feels urgent, but what serves the mission. The first core is clarity of vision. Without it, effort becomes motion without progress. The Stoic strategist knows that every decision is a vote for a future, so they define what that future looks like. Not in vague terms like success or growth, but in specifics. What matters? What's worth sacrificing for? Second is flexibility of method. Life changes, plans fail, but the mission remains. True discipline isn't rigid, it's adaptive. The strategist holds the goal tightly but the path loosely. Like water, they move around obstacles without losing momentum. Third is awareness of cost. Every choice comes with a trade-off. Time, attention, energy, once spent, they don't return. So the disciplined mind measures not just the gain, but the price. What's the opportunity cost? What am I giving up to say yes? And finally, there is consistency. The strategist does not need constant motivation. Their fuel is purpose. They return to it daily, especially when the path gets hard. This is the root system of all strategic thought. In the next chapter, we'll sharpen the blade even further, learning how to train the mind to see through illusion and think with clarity. Chapter 3. Sharpen the mind. cut through illusion. At the root of every strong strategy lies a sharp mind, not just a mind filled with knowledge, but one trained in clarity, discipline, and independence. This is the essence of critical thinking, the ability to question, analyze, and see through illusion. Without it, strategy turns into guesswork, and decisions become vulnerable to bias, impulse, and confusion. But with it, you gain an edge few possess, the ability to think for yourself in a world that constantly tries to think for you. The Stoics warned us about unexamined beliefs. They knew that most people follow traditions, emotions, or borrowed opinions without stopping to ask, does this hold up? Strategic thinkers challenge assumptions. They don't just accept what's popular. They ask, is this true or simply familiar? One of their greatest defenses is knowing how to spot traps. Confirmation bias, for instance, the tendency to seek what supports your view and ignore what doesn't, is a subtle enemy. Most people look for validation, but the strategic mind welcomes contradiction. It plays devil's advocate against itself, not to undermine confidence, but to strengthen it. Better to find your weak points before the world does. They also know not to confuse patterns with truth. Just because two things happen together doesn't mean one caused the other. Did the new marketing plan boost sales, or was it the season, the economy, the competitors' collapse? Trying to be seen in a good light, crafting images, explaining our intentions, correcting misunderstandings. But the wise person doesn't live to avoid being misread. They live to avoid being misaligned. Epictetus said it clearly. If you want to be good, assume that you are already being watched. Not by people, by your own conscience, your reason, your integrity. That is the true audience. I once heard the story of a man named Silas. He worked in a place where politics and performance were the norm. Those who bragged the loudest rose fastest. Those who whispered behind backs gained influence. But Silas moved differently. He showed up early, stayed late, but never competed for attention. He never corrected the lies told about him, never pushed to be seen. And when others asked how he tolerated the injustice, he said, "Because I know who's watching." When pressed further, he said, "Not them, me, and that's enough." Years later, the ones who fought for applause burned out. The ones who manipulated their way to the top collapsed under their own weight. But Silas remained, not because he played the game well, but because he never played it. He lived by his own law, and that law was simple. Live as if your soul was the one keeping score. The inner audience rule is brutal because it cannot be fooled. It doesn't care about applause. It doesn't care about image. It doesn't care whether your silence was misunderstood or your truth ignored. It only asks, did you act with integrity? Did you uphold your standard? Did you remain unmoved by praise and insult alike? And this isn't some abstract moral idea. It's the very foundation of freedom, because when you live by the eyes of others, you become their prisoner. You hand them the strings. They pull and you react. They criticize and you explain. They doubt and you overcompensate. You become like a puppet, sensitive, exhausted, hollow. But when you live by your inner standard, that all begins to fall away. You stop needing to post your progress. You stop needing to be understood. You stop arguing with people who never deserved your time. Why? Because your aim is no longer to be right in their eyes. It's to be whole in your own. You are not performing. You are practicing. And you are practicing for a judge that already knows the full context, your intentions, your struggles, your sacrifices. The part of you that knows everything, especially the parts you hide. And here's the truth. If your inner self respects your silence, the world has no power to misinterpret you. If your conscience is clear, no slander can stain you. If your motives are anchored in virtue, no insult can move you from your path. So what do you do practically? You slow down. You pause before reacting. You ask yourself not, will they like me, but will I respect myself after this? You stop chasing resolution with people who thrive on confusion. You stop defending your boundaries to those who have already shown they will not honor them. And when the moment comes to speak or to stay silent, you choose based on what preserves your peace, not what proves your point. And when doubt creeps in, as it always will, you remind yourself of this. The people who see your depth may be few, but they are enough. And even if no one sees it, even if the whole world misunderstands you, the part of you that matters, the soul, the reason, the inner audience knows. And that's where peace begins. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them twist your absence into arrogance, your silence into guilt, your dignity into distance. You don't need to explain what was never meant for their understanding, because in the end, a life well lived doesn't echo through the applause of crowds. It resonates in the quiet chambers of a conscience at peace. And that, more than image or clarity or control, is the highest reward. Live in such a way that if your life was stripped of all its explanations, it would still stand, quiet, steady, true, not for them, for you. Protect your pain while it's still healing. Guard your dreams while they're still growing. Keep your relationships safe from the noise while they're still finding their roots. This isn't secrecy, it's self-respect. It's the quiet wisdom of those who know that not everything sacred should be exposed. Privacy is not about hiding, it's about holding space for what matters most, to mature without pressure. When you keep your inner world protected, you're not shutting people out. You're allowing truth, love, and clarity to deepen in silence. You don't need an audience to validate your progress. You don't owe anyone your wounds, your plans, or your heart before they're ready. The strongest things in life often grow where no one is watching. So if you've ever felt torn between being open and being safe, let this be your reminder. You have the right to keep some things for yourself. That is not weakness, that is power. If this spoke to your current season, drop a simple comment. Guard the sacred. And if you feel called to continue this journey with us, feel free to subscribe. No pressure. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into what it means to live with quiet conviction and speak with purpose. Until then, keep what matters close.